All right, welcome back to Streaming Media NYC here at the Intercontinental Barclay. I guess I realized I've not actually introduced myself on any of these videos. I'm Tim Siglin. I'm a contributing editor for Streaming Media Magazine and the founding executive director of a research charity in the industry called Help Me Stream Research Foundation. And today I have with me Eric Schumacher-Rasmussen, who at the time when I started writing for Streaming Media again in 2003 was the editor of Streaming Media, and he's also the chair of Help Me Stream. But in the last year, you've had a fairly significant transition. So a year ago, you were chairing Streaming Media East, which was in Boston. Just prior to that, you had taken a role with a company, and what company was that?
Company's called id3as. It's a software development startup based in the UK. I'd known the principals there, Dom Robinson, Adrian Rowe, and Steve Strong, for almost 20 years, since about the time I started editing your work at Streaming Media Magazine. And so I joined their company as their chief marketing officer in 2022 and stayed on. I sort of made the gradual transition. I guess I was fractional on it, I didn't even know it, right? I made the transition from being VP editor and chair of Streaming Media and CMO of id3as to being full-time CMO of id3as. And so last year in Boston was my last Streaming Media event as chair.
So let's talk about Streaming Media for a second. This is your first time back to the show then as sort of just a casual observer.
It's my only time I've ever been at the show as a casual observer.
Fair enough. And what are your observations on the show this year? We're obviously slightly different format, obviously a different venue from the standpoint of not being at the Hilton in New York or the Copley in Boston.
Well, it's interesting because as much as we all complained about the Hilton when we were there, those of us who have been at the shows for a long time still have a little nostalgia for that place,
absolutely.
right? But this new venue is great. I think the content of the show is great. Evan Shapiro has done a terrific job in putting together a new look and new feel and new approach to the industry that I think is really needed, and I think that's reflected by so many new faces that I see here that I've never seen at a Streaming Media show before.
As a matter of fact, Michelle and I were going through the list as we were driving to the airport, and she's like, a lot of these people I don't really recognize on here, but so it's nice to get new blood from that standpoint. Yep. But also we've obviously got some of the consistent stuff like sustainability, like security of streams and that type of thing. So this is one of your products. I'm going to put this to the camera for a second. It's not the little dog, that's Olga with id3as, but Norsk.
Yes.
So what is Norsk?
Norsk is it's a live media server that comes with a low-code SDK that allows users to build very complicated, very custom, dynamic, scalable live streaming workflows in just a few lines of code. The team at id3as kind of realized that it's very easy to tell another human being what you want a live streaming workflow to look like, right? I have 3 SRT cameras, I need to do a multi-camera switcher, I want to do a lower third overlay, and I want to output to low latency HLS and WebRTC. I've just told you that. Now try telling that to a computer.
Right.
It's very hard to tell that to a computer.
Yeah, I've actually just taken up programming in the last couple months, and that would take a long time. Right,
and so the ethos behind the Norsk SDK is, again, it's low code, it allows you to do that in just a few lines of code. And at NAB, we rolled out Norsk Studio, which is a no-code interface that gives you the drag and drop canvas to take pre-built components like an SRT input or a multi-camera switcher, drag it onto the canvas, literally connect the dots, press play and go, but it's also extensible so it can still be customized because as our CEO likes to say, drag and drop interfaces, no code interfaces are great until they're not, at which point they're absolutely garbage.
It's sort of the power user on a computer who might want to go to the terminal, say, and do something. So just to be clear, while Norsk has been out for just a brief period of time, it's all based on code that was for bespoke projects for really big companies that id3as did projects for.
Yeah, so id3as as a company launched in 2010. As you said, it was a consultancy building live streaming systems for the likes of Thomson Reuters, which became NASDAQ, which became Notified, built projects for DAZN, Stats Perform, Limelight, now Edgio. And about 4 years ago, the company decided to take that expertise and productize it. and give customers the ability to, we were at there was a whole track yesterday called build versus buy.
Right.
And our ethos is, well, you can be a little bit of both, right? Norsk allows you to buy something that helps you more easily build exactly what you want.
Interesting. Okay. And so for the person who's just starting out, they can do the no-code solution. For the power user, they can do the no-code and tweak it with low-code.
Right.
No. Okay. Interesting. So what are you, just as a sort of wrap-up, what are you seeing as trends for the next 6 months or so? When we show up at IBC, what do you expect we'll see in the industry?
I think there is going to be a trend toward no-code solutions. I think we're a ways away. One of the things that I've really discovered coming over to the technology side is things, when you're sort of observing them at a magazine like Streaming Media or a conference like this one. We were talking about codecs earlier, things that we thought had changed and already been adopted in, let's say, 2010, really don't get adopted by the market until much later, right? And so I think no code will be slowly on the rise. We'll still be talking about latency. Rob Dillon, one of our speakers, said he promised not to say the L word while he was here, but I think by noon yesterday he'd said it. We'd all said it. So.
And of course, we're hearing the words AI again. We got away from it 5-6 years ago. We're back to it again. I say machine learning. At the end of the day, with low code or no code, is the idea to allow somebody who isn't a streaming expert to set up the production?
Precisely.
Okay.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yes, you need to be a developer to use Norsk, right? Or to be at least a power user of Norsk, but you don't need to be a video engineer. You don't need to know on a deep level what's going on in the codecs or what's going on in the protocols.
And it's interesting, having had the history with Wowza with their command line interface and really pressing them 14 years ago to go to a GUI. Once they got the GUI, it opened up a whole new group of people who were willing to stream. So good. Well, actually, really good overview. I appreciate your time, and go enjoy the show as somebody who doesn't have to constantly put out fires for the rest of the day.
I shall.
All right.
Thanks, Tim.
We'll be right back.